Tonda, good morning.
Good morning.
Can I start with any possible injuries that have flared up or changes you might have? Because I saw Damien Downs limp off on Tuesday night. What's the latest on him or anyone else coming back, please?
So, as it stands right now, it will be a big question mark behind Damien to make it for the game tomorrow. Good news is that Ryan Fraser is going to be back. Samadosi still takes longer, Ross takes longer, Elias still takes a little bit longer, Shea takes a little bit longer, Mats takes a little bit longer. We do have a question mark behind Leo because he's reported sick this morning, so he won't be training today. Obviously, we tried to turn things around, but there's no guarantee for him to be involved tomorrow. And to end off on a very good news, Oriol is going to be in the matchday squad tomorrow.
Excellent. Flynn is obviously suspended, so you have a decision to make, I guess. So Oriol's experience will be vitally important, won't it, to have in the dressing room for you?
Yeah, dressing room and pitch as well. So we see how that's going to look like tomorrow.
How excited are you? Have you got to the point yet where you can actually just know you're doing the work and it's what you're doing is working, and then you can just look forward to the game? Or are you always now still, do you worry about the matches or do you look forward to them because you know you've done the prep?
I look forward to all of the matches always. I think that's my job, our job as a staff to prepare, and then obviously you put one piece together at a time, and then in the end normally we come up with quite a good feeling going into a game.
And you've had 3 games in a week for the first time as a manager. How's that been for you? Have you had any sleep, or have you just been working non-stop?
Well, you always have a shorter and a longer break in those weeks. Obviously this one has had a day more than the turnover from Saturday to Tuesday. Yes, then obviously if you play a light game for the players and the staff, it's not as much sleep than on the day after. No, but we spent all day yesterday preparing, and I have a good feeling for Saturday.
Tell me what you think of Millwall, because they've had a very good start to the season and better than most people thought they would be in the Championship table.
Excellent manager. I remember playing him when he was at Preston still. I think very well prepared, very clear identity in what they do. Watched their game on Wednesday night, and it's going to be a big challenge for us.
But a challenge you can overcome if the players keep applying themselves like they have, yeah?
I think that we can overcome every challenge in the Championship, and we have to if we want to play for something this year. But again, we need to be humble enough to know that there will be moments in the game where we also need to suffer and do our work, especially when we don't have the ball. And if we manage to control those moments, then I think that we have a good chance of taking something home.
We are getting to the point, Tonda, where people are expecting a decision to be made about your future after the weekend. So far you've done well not to talk about it because you've been worrying about the games, which I understand. Are you not talking about it because you don't want to say the wrong thing, or because you literally are going to let the games speak for themselves?
I often think that's the best thing you can do, not just as a manager, but also as a player. And I think for the whole team, the games have been speaking for themselves.
Are there any players that are unlucky not to be playing more minutes? Because a lot of players are playing well. Are you finding it hard to keep everyone happy, or do you think players accept when they're not in the team if the team that's gone out keeps winning?
Yes, it's a good question, and there is obviously always many thoughts, not just about the starting lineup, but also on the dynamics of the group. We've had a very good Wednesday, not just a training session, but the whole day, a very good Wednesday. And that doesn't come down to the players that started the game on the Tuesday, but that comes down to everyone who wasn't involved or who was involved with less minutes. and you can feel that when you come into the building, that we start to become a proper team. And again, you won't be able to create that feeling exclusively by the players that start the game. So a big compliment to everyone involved at the moment with more or less minutes.
How much have you appreciated the way the supporters have reacted to you in the last week? Because it must mean something, even though you want to stay calm. It's got to be quite, it's got to feel good when people are saying your name in a positive way.
That's I think for players, for coaches, that's why we do the job in the end, to give joy, to create some enthusiasm, some positivity for the supporters. To be fair, I don't read much. I try to block that off, and there's also not the time to be on social media reading what everyone thinks, and everyone obviously is entitled to their opinion always. But those feelings at the stadium, they mean a lot.
Just finally from me, how conscious are you, now you've done the job for a few weeks, of the wider responsibility and how a football club represents its city in so many areas of life? Like, it just becomes synonymous with the city, whether it's Liverpool or Newcastle or even Southampton. How, as you've grown in the role, how have you understood more what this means to everybody?
I would hope that I'm able to say that I have always felt the responsibility for City, not just Southampton, but also before. Because you have the responsibility not just as a manager, but also as a member of staff. And going back to the last years, I have had the joy to experience some very nice moments in Genoa, with also a city close by the docks, and I think that there are some similarities on how the city lives for the football club. I remember the promotion. I remember being in the city with the fans when it was all full, and that's powerful. That's a motivation for us, and I hope that I can live up to the challenge also for all the people of Southampton.
Thank you very much.
Just jumping back to the fans' reaction, I think the moment where they were calling for you to wave at them felt like as clear an example really of fans accepting you in and basically saying, "Oh, can he be our permanent manager?" Is that how you sort of read the situation?
I think it was a very nice game on Tuesday. I think that, to be fair, there was not too much happening on the pitch anymore in the second half, so I think they were trying to find some joy elsewhere. That's it.
After the game against Millwall, you expected to be given the job? Because that's kind of what we've been hearing, that maybe these 3 games were wait until those have happened and then we can talk about it because there's no midweek game.
I appreciate the question, but again, we've had some conversations over the last days with Johannes, but let's just make sure we focus on Millwall. It's going to be very important.
I imagine Johannes is very pleased though with the job you've done, right?
That'll be a question for him.
Jumping back to what you said there about Alex Neil, the last time you played him when he was still in charge of Preston, what have you noticed that's different about the Championship now compared to when you were working here with Barnsley?
Fans in the stadium. To be fair, it was COVID time, so towards the end of my time, the fans were slowly coming back into the stadium. It changes everything. I think the quality constantly keeps improving, but I think that's not just for the Championship, but for football in general. But it's still the same thing. Every game is tough to play, especially away. I think that they're going to be sold out, or more or less sold out on Saturday, so going to be a big game coming up.
I think Millwall kind of speak to that because they were doing really well. They're still 4th in the league, but they've got 1 win in their last 5. Can you read into that form? Does that suggest that with the injuries they've got, they're perhaps a little bit weaker than they were previously, or is every team dangerous still?
No, it's a good team. It's a very good team, and they deserve to be up there in the league by their performances, and they will be a very strong side to face.
You mentioned that Leo Cienza's ill today, won't be trained, and I think before you came in, if people would have heard that Leo Cienza might not be available, they'd have been worrying and panicking, because there was a period where it looked like he was the player that would change the game for Saints. Do you feel like the rest of the squad are now in a position that even if Leo can't play, it'll make no difference?
Well, there's a difference always, because I think that every player has different qualities to bring to the pitch, and I think if you prepare for a game, you need to understand where players want to receive, where players feel comfortable, and obviously every player is very different in terms of quality, and maybe at this point just a compliment to the recruitment, because I think that now there's a period coming up with many games, and we have a deep squad, and from my side, from the whole coaching staff, there's so much confidence and trust in not just the players that have started the game so far, but also the ones that are just slightly underneath, and if one drops out, then we do have quality to push.
Do you feel that confidence and trust the other way as well, from the players towards you after the game? Leo Cienza said you should have the job. Are you feeling that the players are totally bought into your ideas now?
I think that as a manager you constantly need to convince, constantly, and that's my job. Obviously, if you prepare something before a game and then things do come off, I think that the players appreciate those moments. But it's a constant process; it's never finished, and I will try to convince again for Saturday.
Flynn Downs has had injury and illness on and off. It feels like all season he's been coming in and out of the team. Then to get suspended for the game against Millwall, he's a West Ham fan, big one for him. How disappointed is he with that? Because obviously Oriol's going to be back in the squad, Shea Charles isn't too far away, you've got Cam Bragg involved as well, and that feels like it's come at the wrong time for him.
Well, being suspended for whatever reason always comes at the wrong time. He's gutted. He was gutted straight in that very moment. I think with the type of player he is, you just have those challenges, and we were very clear not to get another booking. But if you live a game and you live a moment in a game, it's just you think that you can engage in that duel, and you come that half of a second too late. And I think he realized even before he made contact that he will be late, and then you can't pull out anymore. Yeah, it is what it is. It just shows his commitment to the game, shows his commitment to every moment of the game, and yes, he isn't happy. I'm not happy, but it just shows how he lives football in every moment.
How much is Oriol Romeu looking forward to his second Saints debut? Because also he hasn't played since, what was it, May, his last game in La Liga?
Well, he came up on Wednesday, and again, he is very humble in the way he speaks. But he said, "Coach, listen, if you need me for Saturday, I'm available." And yes, it's a long time him not playing minutes, but he showed very clearly on the training pitch on Wednesday, very clearly on the training pitch on Wednesday, that he wants to be involved.
Played for Barcelona within the last 18 months to come into the Championship. Even if you haven't played for a long time, the quality is still clearly there, isn't it?
Yeah, it's. I think that's not a question about quality. I also do believe that every player needs a certain rhythm. That doesn't mean that you necessarily need to play every game over 90 minutes, but obviously you can train, and he hasn't had team training in a long time. And then to come back, you can just feel that you haven't touched a football in an actual stadium for a couple of months. But I'm sure that he will match this up with his quality and experience.
Finally, from me, I'll ask you about your backroom staff, because I know you're experienced as a manager, but they're experienced perhaps at senior level. But the job they've been doing with you has been fantastic. What are you able to tell us about them and the work you've been doing with them?
They've been great, great from the very first day I came in. That is true for the 21s just as it is for the first team. And the staff is just getting bigger and bigger nowadays. And I don't pretend to always know better, and I don't pretend that I know everything. We have some experts, and we have members of staff with very different qualities to the one that I would think I can bring to the table, and I think that's what every good staff is made up of.
I know you'd be focusing with the first team, but are the staff maybe stretched across the academy, because obviously they've come up from the 21s and Atalanta has gone back down? How's that all work, or is everything all fine?
What we try to make sure, and again, our offices are 10 yards apart. We have the doors open, and I want this to feel more like a club staff, rather than obviously everyone has his responsibilities, and that is not going to change. But we just need to live that connection from the academy to the first team. And if you look at the players that are being involved now, I think that only works if we all pull towards the same direction, because you never know when the opportunity is going to come up, but the players need to be ready. And not then in that very moment try to get them ready, but they need to be ready. And that only works if we do have a good relationship and connection. And I think that not just for the first team, but also for the academies, that things are moving in a very good direction at the moment.
That's it.
No problem. Thank you very much.